Close your eyes for a moment and breathe in the distant noise of a world without roads or roofs, only wind, grass, and faraway thunder. Millions of years before cities rose from stone, our earliest kin moved across an unforgiving landscape. Their days were measured not in calendars but in need, where hunger was a constant companion and every sunrise was a question. Where will the next food come from? They walked light and quiet across plains and through woodlands, reading the land the way we read a map. A rustle in the grass, a broken twig, a pattern of tracks, small signs that meant the difference between a full belly and a long, cold night. They foraged roots and tubers tucked beneath the soil, gathered bitter leaves and seeds, and learned to take what the earth offered without wasting a single scrap. When luck came, they shared, because survival was rarely a solitary act. It was the collective breath of the group that carried them forward. Then there was the hunt, clumsy at first, wise over time. They learned to move as one, to distract, to flank, to wait, turning patience into a weapon sharper than any stone. Sometimes the hunt fed a family. Sometimes it only taught them how close danger can come. They faced giants of their world, long-haired beasts that thundered across the plains, reminders that this land belonged to many. They watched and stepped aside, respecting power they could not match. And in the long, cold nights, they pressed close to one another. From friction and sparks came fire, a small trembling light that changed everything. It warmed flesh and dried skins. It drove away hungry shadows. Most importantly, it gathered them, stories and songs rising with the smoke, binding memory into ritual and trust into habit. Their tools were simple at first, broken stones, sharpened bone, yet each chip carried knowledge. How to cut meat, how to strip bark, how to fashion a shaft that might aim truer the next season. Those small inventions were the first steps toward the complex world that would one day follow. Pause. But the truth remains. Their lives were shaped by unpredictability. Seasons shifted, rivers changed course, herds moved on. They learned resilience not as a concept, but as a daily practice. Storing, sharing, moving, and always watching the sky for signs. And through hunger and hardship, something else grew: care. The old were carried. The young were fed and taught. Injury and illness were met with whatever hands and minds could offer. Survival was never just about food or shelter. It was about reason, memory, and the quiet courage of staying together. Look closely at these moments. A hand digging for a root, an ember taken and shielded, a child lulled to sleep against a chest. In those small scenes lie the building blocks of what it means to be human: curiosity, cooperation, adaptation. We are the sum of countless small choices made under pressure, choices to share, to invent, to protect. And when you imagine that flicker of fire against a stone wall, remember this: what kept them alive was not merely the hunt or the harvest, but their to face a harsh world together. From those first fragile sparks, a long human story kindled, one that would carry forward in tools, in songs, and in the stubborn, hopeful rhythms of community. This is how early humans endured, not by chance, but by learning, by listening, and by holding on to one another in the darkest hours.